What is up, everybody? Happy Thanksgiving. Just chilling today. Not a whole lot going on. I figured, what the heck? Let's do a stream. Boiling up some water for my tea here. I have not chosen my tea. I have chosen my cigar that I will be having. I'll be having a Gurkha Trident. Unfortunately, these were discontinued, and they are delicious. A little bummed. I got these, although I did get these on closeout for like $26 for a box of 20, which was pretty awesome. Definitely worth it. I do have, if you'd like to join in the conversation for fun, I do have Skype, Discord, and a good old phone number. So if you're interested, just let me know in the chat, and I will drop the contact info for whichever one you want. Discord is open, so that one's just the live stream channel in the Discord. So if you pop in on there, I can pop in as well, and that's probably the best way, because then we can have more than one person in there. Can have as many people as we want. So yeah, that's probably the best way to go. So how's everybody been doing for today's Thanksgiving? Everybody get into some interesting family fights? Those are always fun. I did not actually do anything today, so that was good, because I like not doing stuff, and I have a piece of pie around here, but I don't know where I put it. Just a second. Got a piece of pumpkin pie that my wife made. This is actually from an actual real squash, or a real pumpkin, so that's that. So other than that, what's going on? Oh, it's really good too. What's up, James? How's it going? Are you chilling with the family or anything like that? And if you want to do some co-streaming, I can pop Skype open and we can we can chit chat. I'm gonna make up a little graphic here. Let's see. It's been a while since I made a graphic for this stuff. Nothing interesting on my end. I just hung out at home today, so it was fun. Let's make a background transparent. Let's get rid of that background. Go away. In chat. There we go. Hopefully that won't look like total crap. Maybe I'll shadow it. Go Bears. The Bears. I might buy some Black Friday phone. Ooh. What phone you eyeballing? I tend not to do anything on Black Friday. I will be staying home tomorrow. And I'm dropping pie on myself. Black by color. Sorry, I'm doing like stuff on the fly on trying to get some stuff done here. Stroke. There we go. Sport. PNG. I have too many drives. I don't know where all my stuff is. Image. I got too many drives. Too many drives. Oh, it does help if I actually save it. Aha. There we go. Does he? Sorry. No, I don't. Why? What? Are you seeing something really weird? Sorry, I am making some tea, and I will be, well, I'm finishing some pie, and then I will be making some tea, which I haven't decided on. See what I got in my old box here. For tea, that is. In my box of tea. See, I got some 2007 Tibetan Flame Raw Pu'er. See, I think this is 2015. It's a Longevity Eyebrow Cake. It's a white tea. It's an aged white tea. Always an excellent choice. I have some White 2T 2 Basics 2014 Autumn Raw. Maybe. What else do I got in here? Let's see, I got the 2018 Year of the Dog Blue Label from Unan Sourcing. This is excellent if you've ever had it. Longevity Cow for sure. What? Longevity Eyebrow? Not Longevity Cow. I also have a 2012 Unan Sourcing Impressions Raw Cake, which I have not tried yet. Got a Wild Arbor. You know what? That Longevity Eyebrow sounds good. This stuff's actually really good. It's I don't want to break it everywhere. So this was a 357 gram cake. It's actually really good, and it's actually relatively inexpensive. I got this from Dragon Tea House, and it is excellent. I drink a lot of it. It's pretty light. Has a nice flavor to it. So I'm just guesstimating on the amount here in my about 100 ml Gaiwan here. So I just got it, just kind of packed in there. Looks like roadkill. It's tea pressed into a block. All right. I do have to say that the gluten-free crust is a little to be desired, though. So this is a white tea. Yes, it is considered very healthy. I like aged white teas. They tend to taste. They have a little bit of a deeper flavor. I find fresh whites are a little too light for me. Like, I do like some fresh ones, but they end up tasting like a little fruity. Some pumpkin pie that my wife made from an actual pumpkin, so it tastes good. But she used gluten-free crust because my sister has gluten intolerance, actual gluten intolerance, not a faux gluten intolerant person. The filling is good. The crust, not so much. I'm going to dump off this first one. What's up, pipes and bees? Good evening to you. How was your thing? I didn't do anything for Thanksgiving, so it was great. I stayed home, did nothing. We had sushi takeout, which was delicious. The good thing about having the anti-gluten trend is it helps people to have, yes. So my sister does have a lot of options these days now that there's so many like anti-gluten things out there. So it definitely does make it easier. So white tea is really nice and grassy, like hay. It's really good. Can I ask her? Sure, you can ask a wrestling question. Go for it. For those who don't know, I also have a wrestling channel called That's Wrestling, where I review AEW, which is a new promotion. Let me pop this out so I'm not looking so far off to the right, so I don't look like I'm totally ignoring you guys. I'm going to drink this a little bit to kind of cleanse my palate of the sweetness so I can light up a cigar here so it won't taste kind of super weird with pumpkin pie. Probably not the greatest combination. Let me move my screen here just a little bit. It's all right. So I think, AEW needs a sister promotion to get their people more experienced. If you could choose one If you could choose, who would you pick and why? Oh, man. That's going to be a tough one. I would say Rev Pro because they're awesome, but they're over in the UK, so it wouldn't work very well. Evolve would be awesome, but again, they're with WWE. They're kind of loyal to them. So I don't know who else. I don't know who else does that many shows. I think they'd have to partner with somebody like that, one of the bigger indies, but there aren't many that aren't tied up with other promotions. MLW would be cool, but I don't think they run house shows. I think they just do their tapings. Obviously, they're paired up with AAA, but that's in Mexico, and obviously not everybody wants to. I don't even know if they have a women's division in AAA, I think, right? I think so. So they're kind of already partnered with AAA, but I don't think they run enough to be useful. PWG, I think most of the guys are allowed to work PWG anyways, but PWG doesn't run super often. Obviously, Excalibur is the founder of PWG, so I'm pretty sure they're free to work PWG if they want to because it's not televised or anything. Most of their people are it's okay for them to work non-televised promotions and whatnot for the most part, probably with some exceptions such as I don't even think they're barred from working Evolve or anything like that, so they could work Evolve even though WWE kind of has a partnership with them. Pumpkin Spice Garcia Vega. That'd be gross. Pumpkin Spice cigars would be kind of gross. So what else is going out there? Going out on the land. This tea is actually pretty good for to brew Kung Fu style like this, because you can brew it quite a few times. It keeps its flavor for quite a while. I'm doing this at 200 degrees right now, and then like near the end, I'll hit it with like boiling. I think it was a pop crystal. What? I had a little Garcia Vega in a small vial, and dear Lord, it was amazing. I think it was a pop crystal. Oh, okay. It was in like a little plastic tube. I think I know what you're talking about. What's up, everybody else who's any new joiners? If anybody wants to make this out into a voice hangout, we can do that over in the Discord. If people want to connect to the Discord channel. There's a live stream voice channel. So if people want to have a big old hangout, we can do that. Do I have a cutter over here? I see. Oh, crap. I do not have a cutter. Oh, yeah, I do. It's right here. Jeez. These things are awesome. The Zycar, was it the X4? Something like that. These are pretty sweet. I haven't had any problems with it. God, still so bummed that a little bummed that these guys were discontinued. And I just burned myself on my tea kettle. But can it cut a man's finger off? Oh yeah, that's the Zycar. Yeah, that could definitely cut a man's finger off. It's definitely a mobster friendly cigar cutter. What movie did that happen in? Was that Casino? Somebody's finger got cut off with a cigar cutter, but I can't remember what movie it was in. I think it was Casino, right? Joe Pesci beat up a lot of people in that movie. But I mean, they kind of all blend, that Goodfellas kind of blend together. Ooh. Middle of this is not lit yet. Looks like this Lajero right in the middle there. It just doesn't want to catch because it's super thick leaf. There we go, that's better. Think I got it right? Yeah, I think it was Casino. I haven't seen that movie in so long. It's probably been like 15 years since I've seen it. What's up, Memento Mori? Just having a nice, Thanksgiving hangout. I don't have any family here, so I can get away. I don't know about the rest of you. If you are trying to escape family, but I don't have to worry about escaping any family. Because all my family lives near me, so I don't have to host anyone. I don't have to stay at anybody's house. So I'm free and clear to be at my own house. I have not seen The Irishman yet. It's on Netflix, right? I should probably watch that. I have a lot of stuff on my watch list at the moment. Too much stuff, not enough time. Sister came in from Columbus, yeah. Sometimes I miss Columbus, and then most of the times I don't. Like, I'll go back there for work, a couple times a year. And then by the time, like, day 3 is there, I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to go home at this point. So, Columbus is nice in very small doses. I'm not sure how much I'd really want to move back there if I really had to. Oh, a bunch of new people streaming in. What's up? Drop something in the chat. We can talk about it. If anybody's got questions, if anybody wants to do voice, I have Skype, Discord, and phone if anybody actually wants to use the old telephone. Though Skype and Discord are a little better and clearer. For those just joining today, I am smoking a Gurkha Trident. These were discontinued about 3 or 4 years ago, so this one's at least 3 or 4 years old. I got them on clearance. Unfortunately, they are delicious. That's always the chance you take it, is when when you buy something on clearance that you'd never had before, and then it turns out to be awesome, and you're like, oh, I can't get any more of these. Memento, watching you light a cigar made me go for a church ward and fill it up with Virginia Flake. That's what I have tonight. What kind of Virginia Flake? Talking about good old Samuel Gawith, or are we talking Camoys cask number 4? Or HH Pure Virginia? There's a whole bunch of good Virginia Flakes out there. Cornell and Deal. Is it just called Cornell and Deal Virginia Flake? I have not been keeping up on all the... I should be, but I haven't been keeping up on all the new releases and whatnot. Probably start the fan in my office to at least move the air around here. It's like just sitting there. Do you age cigars? Me personally, yes. Rarely do I get around to a cigar that I haven't had for at least a year. But most of my cigars are much older than that. Whoops. I'd have to check, but I'm pretty sure that I have... let me check my inventory here. Where am I keeping this? I can't even remember where I'm keeping it. My keyboard is on the floor, so I don't have access to type. Let's see. Open Office. Open Office. Where is Open Office? Open Office. Calc. Tobacco list. Let's get an average here. Average. The average age of the 400 cigars that I have is just over 3 years. 3.01 years is the average age of the cigars that I have. So, yes, they're pretty much all aged by the time I get around to them. Like this Trident, let me check when I actually bought it. Gurkha Trident. I bought these in December of 2015. So these are almost 4. I've had these for almost 4 years. So yeah, they've been discontinued over 4 years ago. So they were brought into my inventory on December 15th of 2015. So, yep, quite aged. I pretty much age everything: cigars, pipe tobacco, tea, most tea. There's not many fresh teas that I drink. Almost all the teas that I drink are going to be at least have some age on them. Like this is a 2015, so this is a 4-year-old tea. Actually, probably pushing almost 5, probably, because this is probably I don't know if this is a spring harvest or not. So it's at least 4 years old. But like, I have a 2000, some 2007 tea. I have some older than that. I think I have some 2002 in there too. But those are teas specifically meant to be aged, and white tea can be aged too, because it's the least oxidized, I guess. Should I age green teas like sencha and goikyo? Goikyu. I can't even say it. No, sencha and Japanese green teas should be fresh, as fresh as possible. They kind of go stale as they get older. Green teas in general will go stale. They don't age very well because they're green killed. So they're picked and immediately heated, so it stops the oxidation process. So you have all that chlorophyll still in there, and the chlorophyll, just as it degrades, as it ages, just does not go that great. What's the best way to store tea? So for pu'er or anything that's going to be aged, you basically store it just like you would cigars. I store mine in a cooler, so I have just like an igloo, big old igloo cooler. So I store it at 70% relative humidity at 70 degrees. Or room temperature. So usually it's closer to like 68 or so. And I tend to actually do a cycle of the humidity. So in the winter, when it gets really dry in my house, that's when I'll actually pump up the humidity in the cooler with the tea. So I might bring it up to 75% and then let it drop through the spring and into the summer. So as it gets hotter, the relative humidity gets lower, and that just helps prevent mold. So I do it opposite of how it naturally occurs in China, because obviously in the summer it's going to be hot and humid, and in the winter it's still kind of humid, but it's going to be cold and humid, or cold and wet. So I kind of do it the opposite way. I do high humidity in our winter and lower humidity during the summer, just to prevent mold and stuff from happening. For fresh tea, stuff that you do not want to age, the best way I store mine in just in mason jar out of the light. Airtight seal jar outside of light. So in a cupboard or wherever. That's what I do for fresh teas. And then, like I said, for aging stuff like pu'er or white tea that you want to age, then you store them just like cigars. I keep the wrappers. This is just kind of it's kind of like a cotton paper almost. It's a little thicker than a normal paper and has way more fibers in it. So I don't know exactly what type of paper this is, but it's kind of like a fabric-y type paper. You just leave them in how they came. Take them out of any plastic because you don't want them stored in plastic because you don't want them to mold or anything. And then store them in a cooler with some humidity beads and a hygrometer, just like you would your cigars. And then for, tea, fresh tea, just store it in a mason jar, airtight. What do you like more, tea or tobacco? That is a tough one. Probably, I probably consume more tea. I consume a lot more tea. Because I can just, drink it all day and wherever I want. It's hard to choose. I'm a big fan of both. If I had to live without one or the other, then I'd probably stick with tea. Tea would probably be the one that I would not give up if I had to choose. But I don't have to choose. At least not at the moment. You never know. That choice might come because who the hell knows? Government is... Well, it's government, so... Who knows how long we'll be able to get our cigars and all that fun stuff. What do you like better, pipes or cigars? Man, you guys are killing me here. That is a tough one. I go back and forth. Because it depends what I'm doing. Not even depends what I'm doing. I just grab one or the other, whatever I feel like at the time. I think I like pipes more because, one, you have the collecting of all the pipes, and storing tobacco is so much easier with pipes. You don't have to worry about much. You just throw it in a mason jar and you're good to go for years and years. Where cigars, you kind of have to maintain some sort of environment for them. Where pipe tobacco is throw it in a mason jar. I can throw it in a tote in my basement and it will be fine for years. I don't have to worry about it. So I think pipes would probably barely eke out cigars on that one. I tend to end up smoking cigars more on live streams though, because it's a little easier because like I'm typing or talking and it's a little less to it's less to maintain, and I'm drinking tea. So I'm like doing all this stuff, so it's a little easier to maintain a cigar while doing all this multitasking stuff. But like if I'm just like sitting, or even if I'm driving, then I'll take a pipe. And I'll take a cigar sometimes too, but just doing a lot of multitasking where I'm using my hands and stuff, and I can set down this cigar and it's going to be burning for at least a minute or two before it starts to go out. Whereas a pipe, you have to baby it a little bit more. How's it going to any of the new viewers? We have voice capabilities if you'd like to join. What's up, VCR? Just got the Pipes and Cigar magazine in the mail. It's really cool. Yeah, I got the Cigars International one. But how come the site is 21 plus? Probably because they just want to cover all their bases, because a lot of states and cities, or even just some cities within states, the smoking age is 21. So like in Ohio is not 21, but like Franklin County, which is where Columbus is 21. So I think they're just being cautious and they're just going for the highest smoking age where they ship to. That is probably the case. Though they are also pipes and cigars. They are in Pennsylvania, and I believe they are going to be raising their smoking age to 21 very soon. And Pennsylvania is most likely, last I checked, they had passed it through one of their houses of their state legislature. I'm not sure if it's gone through both yet. I believe the vote is coming up in like a week or two. PA smoking age law. I believe it might be soon. Legislation which raises from 18 to 21, also extends to vaping. Just signed. So let's check out when this actually goes into effect. Numerous studies, blah, 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 don't really care. Yeah, Tom Wolf on Wednesday signed in 23 new bills, including increasing the minimum age to buy tobacco products. So they are in Pennsylvania, which are bumping up to 21. Let's see if it says when it goes into effect. Tobacco. It doesn't say when it goes into effect. I think it was 60 days, maybe. I'll have to check. But that is the case. But why change the age if it's been 18 for decades? That's because government likes to have their hand in everything and babysit you. That is how it goes. CPA raises. Yeah, this was just published 9 hours ago. Raises to 21. Of course, exception made for active military and veterans with honorable discharge. So if you are active military, you get to buy cigarettes. So it actually looks like that doesn't actually go into effect until July 1st. So we still got 6 months. But yeah, it's freaking ridiculous. Is there a combination of tea and tobacco you would consider the best? So the best tea I've found is Da Hong Pao, also called Big Red Robe. It is a Wu Yi Rock Oolong, and it is really good, and it pairs with basically everything because it has just a touch of sweetness and a touch of bitterness, so it has a very nice balance, and it will pretty much pair. If you have a sweet cigar, it'll make it sweeter. If you have a really earthy cigar, it'll make it more earthy, and then the tea will be sweeter. So I think Da Hong Pao is probably my most paired tea. But just kind of as a general rule of thumb, black teas will pair really well. I paired a Dian Hong black tea with a Monte Cristo Medianoche, and it was delicious, both of them. So ironic. 18, old enough to bleed and die for their country, but not smoke and drink. Yep, go figure. You can vote, and you can do all your legal. So, isn't it hilarious? Like if you are 20 and caught with alcohol, you are charged with underage, even though at 18 you're an adult. Or it's just like, the kid who takes a naked selfie of himself when he's 16 and then he gets charged with child porn, even though he's the one he gets charged as an adult, but the crime is because he's not an adult. Hi, Sam, Kathy, and Wayne. What's up? Happy Thanksgiving from James. Did you hear about COPA, and do you think the government was wrong for doing it or right? Anything the government does is pretty much always wrong. So I think it's stupid. I mean, so what, I haven't really looked into it too much because I don't make content targeted towards kids anyways, so I don't really care. But it's so ridiculous that it's like something about targeted ads, but it's like, well, aren't ads on, say, Nickelodeon targeted ads? It's like, do they not have ads on children's television anymore? I mean, those are clearly targeted ads to kids. So I think it's a bunch of bullcrap. It's so stupid. So, I mean, yeah, like I said, kids shows have targeted ads. So what? YouTube can't have targeted ads to kids? Like, apparently you're not allowed to advertise, G-rated movies to kids under 13 on purpose. So stupid. I mean, that's like the demographic they're going for, is they want kids to be able to go see. They're not going to make a G movie for, adults. I mean, some of the G movies are fun for adults, but because they slip in the little jokes that the kids won't get. But no, it's stupid. Pretty much every law goes south and has unintended consequences, and those consequences are usually stupid. And the consequences are usually worse than the problem they're trying to solve. Like, every time. That is my take on it, at least. Try to stay out of political la land, but sometimes it's just stupid. Especially when it comes to, tobacco-related products or nannying in general, large sodas and what you can and can't eat, and making life decisions for you. And, like, you can't make your own life decisions. Like, they have to make them for you. Hey, thanks for all the new people who have tuned in. Feel free to post questions in the chat. Also, if you'd like to join the conversation on voice, if you'd like to come on and gab for a little bit, I got Skype, Discord, and good old phone if anybody actually wants to use a phone. Though Skype and Discord are preferred because they sound so much better. And on Skype we can actually see you if you want a video in. I'm assuming, James, that Sam, Kathy, and Wayne are relatives of yours. Well, Sam, I'm pretty sure you're married to Sam. Unless you have another Sam in the family. That'd be kind of strange. Although we have two Elizabeths in the family. They're both married into the family, but we have two Elizabeths in the family. Do you recommend I buy green tea from an online store or traditional store that I just drive to. It depends where you are, but you can usually get better tea from online, especially because a lot of places will even give you the date of when it was picked within a couple days. So that's always nice. So like Yunnan Sourcing, they usually they tell you like what month it was picked in. If it was that, or even if it's a really short run, they'll give you even the couple days that it was picked. Japanese tea is, don't know so much about Japanese tea, but a lot of places will give you the month it was picked. So it's going to be nice and fresh if you buy it directly from them. Like I've gotten tea from Yunnan Sourcing that was picked less than a month before I got it, which is extremely fast versus stuff that you'll buy in the store that, it could be last year's harvest. You don't know. Though some bags are dated, but a lot of them will have an expiration date. But that's not necessarily accurate, to track back the date of the picking. Because some it may be picked, but they'll always give, say, like a year out expiration date, and that's the year out from when they package it, not necessarily when it was picked. So they could be storing it in large bales or something like that, and then just packaging over time. So it could be, if you track back like a year from the expiration, it could actually still be a couple months even from that. But then it's green tea, you do not want aged. So green tea is one thing that you don't want to age. So green tea does not age well because all the chlorophyll is kept in the leaf. They pick it and dry it immediately, which is called green kill. And it sets the green and the chlorophyll in there. And as the chlorophyll degrades, it really kind of like loses its flavor, and then it kind of gets bitter. So really for aging, for the most part, you want pu'er, which is essentially not processed for the most part. And then there's ripe pu'er, which is actually artificially aged through a almost like a compost, like a hot pile, like they do for tobacco, the same way they age tobacco in piles, and they have to flip the pile so it doesn't get too hot and all that stuff. But raw pu'er is just is just naturally dried and then pressed. So that has all the live enzymes still in there that are going to slowly convert carbohydrates and stuff into like sugars and break them down. So pu'er, white tea, same thing. It's naturally dried. It's air dried, so it hasn't been heated, so it doesn't kill off that stuff. So the stuff that isn't heated ages well, and also the oolongs, which are partially oxidized, those will age okay too. Why is plum pudding $30 for a small tin? Is it check to see if it's actually the 4-ounce tin, because they have a reserve. But there's also they also make 8-ounce tins, which are probably around the $30 range. Looking for a good non-aromatic pipe tobacco to try. Any personal favorites? I guess, what type of Snoopy, what type of flavor do you like? Do you like spicy? Do you like sweet? Do you want something really bold? Do you like smoky flavors? Do you like grassy flavors, chocolatey flavors? Kind of give me an idea of what type of flavors you are looking for, and then I can give you some recommendations. I'll try Yunnan Sourcing then. Yeah, Yunnan Sourcing is really good. Yeah, you'd say the green tea from the store is usually a little off and too yellow. Yeah, definitely that is the case. Definitely try Yunnan Sourcing. Obviously, they're gonna have. Let me check. They might have some autumn green teas. Most of the pickings are going to be in spring and autumn. I don't know if they pick and make any greens in the fall, but the fall harvest is obviously pretty much over at this point. Let's see. Autumn 2009, autumn and winter 2019. Oh yeah, there are some green teas from autumn and winter. So let's see what else. So they have some imperial grade Biloy Chun right now. That was probably just picked, and they have some Pure Bud Silver Strands First Flush green tea as well that they have picked in this recent season. So those are two green teas that were harvested just in autumn. Late September for the Silver Strands. So that should be actually really good. They should have a kind of a fruity, grassy note. Might be a little on the bitter side. If it gets too bitter, use a much lower temperature. I would actually probably go down all the way down to maybe 160 degrees for water temperature on that. Same with the Biloy Chun. You'll have to play around with the water temperature, and that was also harvested in late September as well. So same thing, go probably a cooler water temperature down to maybe 160, and if it's still bitter, drop even farther, drop to like 150 or 140. If you can control the water temperature, it'll take out that really like mouth puckering bitterness. But yeah, definitely give that a shot. There's definitely green tea out there from autumn, but spring is going to be your biggest selection of green tea. But green tea. What else is there? There's also some nice white teas that you could check out as well. The Yugong Bai, the Imperial Grade Yugong Bai white tea is excellent. It is so good. So I would give that a shot. It has a very nice hay flavor with a touch of sweetness. So I would definitely give that a shot. And it's a Imperial Grade that they're selling. It's $5 for 50 grams, or that works out to about $35 per pound. Excellent. That's an excellent price point too. So it's not that expensive. I mean, you're talking like 7 cents per gram if you're buying a pound of it. And it is excellent. It is one of my favorite white teas. And it will age really well as well. So if you can find the Yugong Bai, they have older as well. It's still worth buying. Like even if they had some 2018, it looks like they only have autumn. But yeah, bold and sweet. Okay, bold and sweet. Wow. All right, the HH Bold Kentucky is bold and sweet. You have to smoke it low and slow. So McBaron's HH Bold Kentucky. I would give that a shot. But it is super high on the nicotine, so you probably just want a small bowl of it. Smoke it low and slow, almost on the verge of going out. Smoke it, use matches with it, and don't worry about if you have to relight it like 20 times, because you want just barely burning. And it has a nice sweet flavor, but it definitely can punch you in the gut with the nicotine content. And then this classics Samuel Gallif Full Virginia Flake is really nice. What else? Bold and sweet. It's a little on the smoky side, but Captain Earl's 10 Russians has a nice sweetness to it, and it is definitely nice and forward and pretty bold on that. Yeah, I'd give those a shot. Those are definitely going to be on the bolder side, but have a nice, decent sweetness, especially if you smoke it low and slow. I mean, that's really the key with Virginias and Burleys is smoking them close to going out. And if they go out, just let them go out. Don't try to force them. Don't try to puff on it to try to get it back relit. Just let it go out and relight with a match. Matches are definitely a key to those as well, to keep them from getting too hot, because lighters, the flame is much hotter and it can scorch those sugars and you'll end up getting burnt. You want those sugars to get caught with the moisture and brought in with the moisture, instead of actually burning those sugars and getting, because burnt sugar tastes horrible. So that's kind of the key to those. Low and slow, and let them go out. Don't force them. Sleep. Da-da-da-da-da. I think my cigar has gone out because I've been talking so long. Guess not. All right. Good construction. All right. We'll go with that. Yeah, and as suggested, pure Virginias and some light vapors, Orlik Golden Flake might be something to try as well. Lycans, how can ROH turn things around? I don't know if ROH can turn things around with what happened in the past week. Since they're owned by Sinclair, Sinclair needs to put in some effort into them. I think they need to advertise on their other channels, and they need to put them on in a prime time spot. I think that's the only way ROH can make anything come back. But I don't know. I don't know if they're too far gone or if they just have to stick it out for a while and see what happens. Alec Bradley Magic Toast. I have never even heard of that. Is that I'm assuming it's a cigar. Sinclair Broadcast Group. Do they own a large channel, though? Do they own a national channel? That's the thing. Let's see who they have. I don't even know who they have. If they have any large channels, any national channels, or for the most part, are they programming? They make programming that they syndicate out. I don't know tons about them. Come on, where are we? They hold Fox Sport Network. Okay, so why aren't they putting it on like Fox Sports? Wouldn't that make most sense? Chesapeake. They just don't seem to have like huge networks. I think that might be their problem. Only way I saw it was Sunday nights on local Fox channel. Yeah, I don't even know when or where they air. I think that's kind of the problem. They don't have a set time to air. and they just don't do enough to promote anything else. Like, they're on Fight, but okay, that's great. I don't watch it. Yeah, but for the most part, it seems like they're more of a sports programming and distributor than an actual. They don't own too many channels per se. I mean, Fox Sport Networks is regional networks, so that's not going to do much. That's not a national thing. They have Fox College Sports, but again, it's not going to be national. Fox Sport Go, same thing. I don't know how they own all these small little Fox. I don't know why Fox doesn't own all the Fox channels. And they just kind of own affiliates and stuff. So yeah, they just don't own what they need to. They need to make a deal with somebody. What else is going on out there, guys? Any other questions? My cigar actually went out this time. Man, having a drop off. I don't think people like the wrestling talk. Went from like 11 people down to like 6. Sorry. It's just one of those topics that come up. Though I will answer any other questions if people have them. Has anyone in the chat managed to try any of the Peterson releases of the Dunhills? They should be exactly the same because they're still made by STG, but yeah, sorry. Unan Sourcing isn't going to have Sencha because they're specialized in Chinese tea, and Sencha is Japanese. There are very few Japanese teas, anyways. Sencha is one of them. There's not a ton of Japanese teas compared to Chinese teas. What temperature should I brew Sencha at? It's really going to depend on the Sencha. If you're finding it's too bitter, go down in temperature. I had a Sencha once that tasted horrible at like 190, but was really good at 160. What's a good tea to put in a thermostat? What are you talking about? Yeah, Yunnan is a province in China. So they named it after the province that produces the most pu'er tea. Mostly pu'er is grown in Yunnan, but there's other stuff too. But they get stuff from all the some of the other provinces as well. But Yunnan is pretty much one of the biggest tea producing counties or provinces in China. It was started by a guy named Scott. I'm totally spacing his last name, but he lived in China, and he was a big tea fan, and he started sending tea to friends, and then he ended up turning it into a business. So he's an American who now lives in China. So that's why it's mostly geared U.S. facing. Well, Why am I totally spacing Scott's name? Scott, is his last name Wilson? Scott Wilson? I can't remember. I've talked to him quite a few times, but I'm totally spacing his last name. He's a cool guy too, and if you ever have any questions about their stuff, just shoot them a message on like Facebook or something, and they'll get back to you definitely within a day. Just remember they're 12 hours difference from the East Coast, so East Coast of the U.S. So they're obviously not going to be up at 1 in the afternoon our time, but they will get back to you. They're all really, really cool people over there. And Scott is usually the person you'll end up talking to, or his wife. I just use 160 because that's what most people seem to recommend. Yep. But you can play around with the temperatures. It depends on the tea. If you like a little bit more bitterness, go at a little higher temperature. If it's too bitter for you, go lower. There's some teas you might actually have to go all the way down to like 130, or even less because it's just super bitter. It really just depends on your preference. Every 10 degrees can have a pretty substantial effect. So just because it's horrible at one temperature doesn't mean it will be horrible at every temperature. Also, just make sure you don't let it sit there and stew. I'm drinking my tea right here, Gung Fu style. So, I'm brewing it I have a lot of leaf. My Gaiwan is pretty much full here of leaf, but I'm only brewing it for like 15 seconds. I'm using 200 degree water on this white tea, but it's an aged white tea and can take it. But yeah, you just have to play around a little bit. Oh, thermos. You said thermostat. I'm like, what are you talking about? Thermos. So you'll want to find a tea that you can brew the crap out of. So it really depends. This white tea that I'm drinking is really good for it. So I have a couple different ones, but I have a stainless steel one that has a basket in it, and it's really good for that. So this white tea is really good. The Da Hong Pao, that rock oolong that I like, that you can just brew the crap out of and it doesn't get bitter. So that's something that I like to use. So you really just kind of have to pick your tea for that. Some teas are going to be really bad if you just brew the crap out of them. Some will be fine. So you just kind of need to play around. Some are better than others, and it's obviously going to be personal taste as well. But I find rock oolongs, for the most part, are fine. Just don't use a lot. Just go really light on the leaf. Let it brew for 5+ minutes before you start drinking on it, and you should be okay. So rock oolongs are usually pretty good. Some of the really light roasted oolongs like Tai Kuan Yin, if you like the more floral flavors, are going to be okay to brew the crap out of. Most green teas are not going to work very well. Most green teas are just going to get super bitter. Some black teas, same way. Some black teas are good, some black teas are not. I can't give you a specific suggestion on that. I can give you one specific. The black tea of Samao from Unan Sourcing is really good. It has a nice chocolatey flavor. But it's going to be a bit of experimentation and just finding what you like. But yeah, that Da Hong Pao, the which is Big Red Robe, that oolong is pretty much my go-to for like anything. Like I'll brew it in a pot. I'll brew it Kung Fu style. I'll put it in a thermos. I'll make iced tea out of it. That is probably the one utility tea, or the most utility tea that I have, because I don't need sugar with it either. So I can just carry it, and if I'm somewhere that has hot water and I can get some hot water, it's fine. I don't have to worry about the temperature, because it tastes fine at 190. It tastes fine at boiling. So that's kind of like my utility tea. So like if I have to go into the office or whatever, that's the tea I keep with me, and just make at the office because I can get the hot water out of the coffee maker or whatever, and I don't have to worry about the temperature. You have to worry about the chlorine, but you can only do so much. Do you own a travel humidor? I do not. I don't travel with cigars usually. If I travel, I will bring my pipe with me. I'll bring pipes with me because then I just need a mason jar to carry tobacco with. So I'm not. I usually don't carry. I don't travel with cigars. That's the type of thing I'll just buy. I'll buy there, wherever I'm going, if I want a cigar. But I'll bring pipes with me. And if you're going anywhere like big, you're probably gonna find a shop somewhere. So I'll just buy one there. Yeah, but I find traveling with pipe tobacco is way easier. Like I said, you just throw it in a mason jar and off you go. You don't have to worry about it. What's up, Baghdad Al Sharid? I guess that's how you say it. How's it going? Nice of you to join us, if you're still with us. What else is going on out there, people? Keep knocking stuff down. Oh, headphones. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I recorded my I recorded my podcast, but I didn't publish it. Whoops. I should probably do that. Japanese teas. I'm totally spacing the name of it. Give me a second and I'll tell you. Crap. I'm just totally spacing the name. Defender responding. Please don't. Da 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 da. I think. Oh. Japanese tea vendors. I will find it for you though. Ooh, things have changed. Zencha, Zencha, Zencha.net, is a favorite of people. I don't drink a lot of Japanese tea, so I had to look it up. But Zencha is probably the place to go. They have a pretty good selection. Let me check the prices here. So they got Sencha, Goikuyo, Bancha, Hojicha. Ooh, Hojicha is really good. Yep. There you go. Zencha is the way to go. That seems to be the best. I think they're actually in Japan. I can't remember. The premium organic, Jesus, $28 for 80 grams, so it's a little expensive for the imperial or the premium grade. Let's try to go for a more everyday grade here. Kagoshima Sencha is $12 for 100 grams or 3.5 ounces. So yeah, $13 for 100 grams. You're probably only going to use about 5 grams per pot. So you're looking at about 20 brewing sessions for $13, which is probably relatively close to. It's going to be much higher quality than the stuff you're going to find in the store. What else do they got? Yeah, it's going to be kind of the lowest price that they have. Is that $12 for 100 grams? When did you know you love tea and tobacco so much you wanted to do a YouTube channel? So I had already been doing cigars for quite a while, and pipes for quite a while, and tea for quite a while. It was actually James Patton. It was Honest Cigar Reviews at the time. I saw his channel a couple years ago, and I figured, what the heck. Yeah, Hoji Cha is probably one of the ones that will store longest because it's roasted. So that's probably not going to go bad as quickly because it's been roasted, so all the chlorophyll has pretty much been destroyed at that point. So you won't get that kind of staleness going. So yeah, Hoji Cha is pretty good. Superior Organic is $11 for 100 grams. Harvest year 2017. Oh, but it's out of stock, so they don't actually have any Hoji Cha. Whoops. But yeah, I mean, there's not a ton of Japanese teas to choose from. But if you like Sencha, any plans for Patreon? Not at the moment. I had Patreon up, but it got basically no support, so I took it down. It wasn't worth it. And at least as far as this channel, YouTube has been putting in all these stupid rules, so we don't know how long these type of channels are even going to survive on YouTube. And unfortunately, YouTube's kind of like the biggest outlet for independent media, video media. So kind of playing it by ear at the moment to find out what's going to happen in the future. But a lot of people are, a lot of content, a lot of YouTubers in the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms realms have been hit hard. A lot of people are making livings doing this, and then they take away like tons of, they take away their living basically. And you're lucky if you get like 1% of your viewers supporting you on Patreon. I mean, 1% is like, would be really good. But it's more like, a fraction of a percent of people support the people that they watch on Patreon. So, which would be fine if we had full monetization. It would be fine because the YouTube monetization would cover all the costs and whatnot, but it's a little rough at the moment. And as I said before, it's not even that much of the money thing, it's exposure. Once they demonetize you, your exposure goes down dramatically. My exposure went down over 80% overnight when they killed my monetization. Because they don't care about promoting stuff that isn't going to make them money. If they're not going to show an ad, they're not making money either. So they're not going to promote you. So I've said in the past, I was up, my videos were being suggested around 20 to 25,000 times a day, and that dropped to under 5,000 the next day after they demonetized all my videos. So exposure just goes to crap. So it's really disheartening when you worked, a couple years on this, and then they just kind of yank the rug out from under you. Because it's like, all right, sweet, I'm finally getting this nice reach. I'm reaching like 25,000 people a day, or 25,000 people a day are seeing my suggestions, my videos for suggestion, and then it drops to like nothing. It's like, oh, I was just barely getting there, and then they just yank the rug out from under you. I mean, even at the height of my video creation, when I was creating a lot, I put out a poll about supporting on Patreon, and like only like 2 people voted that they would, and everybody else said that they wouldn't. It was like 98% of people said that they wouldn't, that voted. So it's just one of those things. It's like you're only going to get a fraction of a percent of people to support you on Patreon. It is what it is. It's it's a tight market out there at this point because everybody is on Patreon, and then everybody only has so much to support various creators. And you have to, it's got to be like, for the person doing the creating, it's like, okay, well, do I want to make what do I do for tiers? What if I still want to put out all my content for free for everybody? It's just, yeah. Unfortunately, I wish I had a product I could sell that people would actually want, but the products that I'd want to sell, I can't legally do it. So, do I have to find something else to do? I mean, that's kind of why that's why I've started like the wrestling channel. Of course, that has not been growing at all. But it's low effort for me to do at the moment. I could put in some more effort as time goes on to kind of promote that and whatnot, but it's just trying to figure stuff out. It's it's a battle for creators to figure out what hits with people and what doesn't. But you also want to do stuff that you want to do and you're passionate about, and like you don't want to force it and fake it because people know that you're faking. So it's just one of those things. Do I absolutely need a Gaiwan for tea, or as an infuser I have good enough like mine from the bottom dispensing? For Sencha, the bottom dispensing is just fine. That'll work great. Gaiwans are typically used for a lot of the Chinese teas. Green, I tend not to use a Gaiwan for anyways. Even the Chinese teas, I will brew. They call it grandpa style. Basically, you will get like a tall glass. I use a tea tumbler that I have. That's a glass tumbler, and you just keep adding water. When it starts getting too bitter, you add some water to dilute it, and that tends to work the best for like Dragon Well, also called Longjin, which is Dragon Well. That works really good for that. Didn't mean to bum me out. I know. It has been it's a bit of a bummer. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's been a bit of a bummer, and it's kind of weird because like when I stop making content is when my views go up. Like I haven't made like any specific content other than doing some live streams, but my views and subscribers has actually gone. My rolling average has increased since like the last like edited video I did, and that was August 1st. I did a cigar review. That's like the last like specific piece of content that I created, and but since then my average views and average subscribers have actually gone up over a rolling 30-day average, which is pretty funny. I mean, this happened last time. Like I stopped making content for over a year, and like my subscribers and views like exploded. Of course, I was monetized at the time as well, so I got a lot more exposure. So my exposure is slowly starting to creep back up, but it's not. It's still down. Still down 65-ish% from where it was. So it's slowly. It's better than when it was, 6 months ago, but it's still not anywhere close to where it was. This is a really long cigar. Let's see, we've been live for an hour and 36 minutes. I probably didn't light it until like 10 minutes in? Maybe a little more. Do I have a dog? No, I don't have any kids. I just have a dog. Well, and a wife, but I don't have any kids. I don't want kids. I don't like them. I am kid adverse. It's kind of a strange question. Is there something that triggered said question? I'm curious. Oh yeah, I have a cat, but he's a douchebag, so I don't even think about him. I got a big ass Maine Coon cat. He's not in my office at the moment. He's usually bugging the crap out of me. He thinks I never feed him. Basically, I feed him, and like an hour later, he wants more food. But he's a fatty, so he gets food at certain times of the day, and do not stray from that schedule. and he's just going to bitch about it all day long. I feed him when I get up in the morning. I feed him in the evening. And then I feed him when I go to bed. And he still bitches that he doesn't get enough food. But he gets 3 cans of food a day. But if you saw him, you'd think if you saw him, you'd think I'm starving him by the way he acts. But you look at him, and he's a fatty. And he's lost about 2 pounds since we got him. He was really overweight. He was like 16 pounds. Now he's down to like 14 pounds. So he's a little bit better on the weight side. But he still looks a little fat. But yeah, you would think we never feed him. He's constantly making noise, and we keep his food is in our bathroom. It's stored under the bathroom sink, and he paws at the door whenever you go into the bathroom because he's like, "Oh, give me food. It's like, dude, you don't get food for another 3 hours. You had breakfast, you had your dinner, and it is not 11 o'clock at night yet when you get fed your final meal." What's up, Combat Sloth? Happy Thanksgiving to you. Hopefully yours went well. No fist fights at the dinner table with family. Or your uncle saying inappropriate things. Being very non-PC. Yes, exactly. That's what he is. He's like, I know there's food in there. He does it to me. He does it to my wife. So we constantly have to ask each other, did you feed him? Because he always acts like he's not gotten fed. So I'll feed him. And then like an hour later, he'll be bitching at my wife. And she'll ask me if I fed him. And of course, yes, I did feed him. He's a liar. Don't listen to him. He is a liar. He has been fed. He costs more money in food than my dogs. I have 2 dogs. And, well, one, they outweigh both of them. He outweighs both of them combined. Because I got a 9-pound wiener dog and a 4-pound chihuahua. So he outweighs both of them by a pound combined. So my dogs share 1 big can of food a day, and my cat eats 3 small cans on his own. So he ends up he costs twice the amount in food that our dogs do. Go get your cat, fat cat. I'm going to hit your dog. Why are you going to hit my dogs? What's up, Ryan? What's up, Freddy? I will see if I can grab my cat in a minute. See if he's a fatty. Doing well. Smoked a bowl of... Oh, nice. Is the Black Gettysburg good? I think I have a pouch of it. I haven't had any of them, of the Brigadiers. I haven't had any of their stuff. I have some pouches, but I just haven't opened them. I am new to the game, so I'm exploring. I smoke very few aromatics, besides reviewing for you guys. For the most part, yeah. Cats usually do suck. We adopted this one because a friend of ours was moving to California and she couldn't take it with her, because it's a 2,500 mile drive, and the cat does not do good in cars. It is just a chore to get him 10 miles to the vet, and one time my wife brought him to the groomers to get shaved for the summer, and he made it all the way home, and then right as they pulled into the driveway, he projectile vomited all over my mother-in-law's car inside the car. So yeah, it's tricky. Enjoy English luxury. Yeah, English luxury. That's gonna be much more up my alley. I drink I smoke very few aromatics. It's almost like my go-tos are always gonna be Latakia heavy blends, Pirate Cake, 10 Russians, Lancer Slices. Those are gonna be my go-tos. Penzance is my all-time favorite. Obviously, it's hard to get, but I have a decent stock of it. John Cotton Smyrna, also a big fan of. Those are all going to be the Latakia heavy blends that I like. As far as Virginia's, Samuel Gowa Full Virginia Flake is obviously a popular one with pretty much everybody. My favorite vapor was discontinued. Luckily, I bought like 15 tins of it before it was, which is Suge Raijin, which was made by Drew Estate. Well, was blended by Drew Estate, and then Drew Estate stopped making tobaccos as well. So I think they just Suge kind of went with Drew Estate no longer making pipe tobaccos, which is kind of a bummer because you figure Drew Estate would be like definitely someone you want blending pipe tobaccos because their flavored cigars are amazing because they just kind of use different techniques of flavoring their cigars compared to everybody else. So you figured they'd be really good at doing the tobacco, the pipe tobacco, but they just kind of stopped doing it. They only lasted a few years in the pipe tobacco world, which is kind of a bummer. I don't know if they were taken out because of if they just gave up because of the FDA bullcrap, because all of their stuff was released after the cutoff. So Gaslight and Escudo. I haven't actually tried either of them. I know I have a tin of Escudo, but I just haven't opened it yet. I have so much unopened stuff because I'd buy everything that I haven't tried before. So I end up with a massive backlog. I have a backlog of at least 100 plus tins that I have not opened of blends I haven't tried before. Yeah. Slowly go through them. But luckily, since pretty much none of them are aromatics or anything, that they'll age just fine. Obviously, anything that has Latakia in it, you probably want to get to it around 7 years or so. Then the Latakia starts to degrade. But if you have like a really, really good blend, like I have some Penzance from 2011, and even though the Latakia has diminished, what is in there is so good. Like the base tobaccos that they use, it's just excellent, even though the Latakia has diminished. So those are kind of the things I'd look for. Same with like the Lancer Slices. You could age Lancer Slices for like 20 years and you could let the Latakia basically diminish to nothing and it's going to be delicious. Because the Virginias that they use are really good. So that's kind of the stuff I look for as well for what I'm going to buy a lot of. Stuff that is going to be fine in 20 years because, of course, eventually we're not going to be able to buy tobacco isn't going to be any cheaper than it is today. It's always going to be more expensive tomorrow. So I've been buying blends 5 at a time to figure out what I like. I've been told to cellar. Yep. That is the way to go. Especially if you really like Virginias and Vapors and Burleys. Those are the things that are basically going to last indefinitely. They're like not going to go bad as long as they're stored properly. You're not going to have to worry about them being crap when you finally get around to them. I mean, you can smoke them in 20 years from now as long as they're stored correctly. So, yeah, I mean, those are definitely the things that I'm going to store the most of. But then, like I said, like the Lancer slices, the base tobaccos that they use are so good that even if the Latakia dies out, it's still going to be great. So I have no problem with a lot of the Latakia blends that I like. That the base that they use is really good. So I'm not worried about if the Latakia is dead by the time I get around to smoking it. Just like Penzance, yeah. Even if it's 10 years old, it's still gonna be good, even if the Latakia is diminished so much. So in just this little bit of tea leaf that I have, I'm guessing I probably used about 5 grams or so. And this is it's like a 90 to 100 mil Gaiwan here. I've already put just shy of a liter through this. So I've had about 32 ounces of tea through just this 5 grams of leaf, and it's still really good. I mean, that's one thing about some of these really good teas. And if you're brewing Gung Fu style with a Gaiwan for these Chinese teas. What's a good starter pipe tobacco? I did a video on this. It's actually one of my more popular videos, but for aromatics, I would try 4th gen 18. Is it 1897? I don't know. You have to check the video. I believe it's 1897. It's a really light vanilla. It's not overbearing, which I like. Also, Amphora full aroma and original blends are both good. Those are both good starters. And the ever classic Lane 1Q. I mean, it's the most popular bulk out there for a reason. So Lane 1Q is definitely one to try. Lane 1Q is probably your most quintessential, aromatic tobacco. So that's in the aromatics. As far as Virginias, I would definitely try Samuel Gowa Full Virginia Flake if you can get it, or Camoys Cask Number 4. Somebody in here said Cornell and Deal has a Virginia Flake, so I'd give that a shot. As far as vapors, I would start with a light one like Orlik Golden Slice. That's a good one to try. And of course, there's Peter Stokkebye's Navy Flake. That's also one to try. Another straight Virginia is Peter Stokkebye's Twisted Luxury Flake, or Luxury Twisted Flake, something like that. That one is good to try. As far as an English, Peter Stokkebye's Luxury English is good to try. Trying to think of a light English that isn't too heavy on the Latakia. I'm not sure what I said in the video. I can't remember per se. John Cotton Smyrna is good. It's not super heavy it's not a huge lap bomb. So those are kind of the ones. Those are kind of all the ones I would try. And then if you want to branch out, and if you can tolerate heavier blends or tolerate nicotine, H.H. Bold Kentucky, I talked about that earlier from Mac Baren. It tastes really good, but it does pack a punch. So, or you just smoke a very little of it. Just do a really small bowl, like one flake. Also, HH Old Darkfire. Basically anything from the HH line from Mac Baren is really good, but they are going to be a little bit on the heavier side. They're going to be a little stronger. So just be aware of that. But yeah, everything in the HH line is delicious. Of course, there are some that are discontinued. They've been replaced. So Vintage Syrian has been replaced with Balkan Blend, which I have not tried yet. Pure Virginia is the replacement for Mature Virginia. Mature Virginia was really good. I kind of missed that. That was one of my favorite Virginias. It was actually a ribbon cut Virginia, but it was really, really good. Trying to think what else is kind of a good go-to starter. Unfortunately, some of the best have been discontinued. Dunhill, well, I guess Peterson now, Early Morning Pipe, always a favorite. HH Darkfired, Old Darkfired or Bold Kentucky. This is two different ones. The Old Darkfired is probably a good blending tobacco as well. It's a little expensive for a blending tobacco though. Because it's good by itself. If you want a good, you have to chop it up yourself, but Leaf Only has a really good dark fired whole leaf tobacco. You'll have to shred it yourself, but it is delicious. It's really good. A couple of the tobaccos I like the most are actually from whole leaf, and you have to shred them yourselves. The semi-oriental, I think it's 465 or something like that, is so good just by itself. Peter Stokkebye's Proper English. Peter Stokkebye's English Oriental Supreme is good if you like a little bit of sweet Cavendish. Yes, I agree with that. Pipes and bees. I'm not a huge fan of Cavendish in general. It just tastes weird to me. All right, see ya, Likens. He's got to get off because he's actually got to work tomorrow. It's Black Friday. Bummer. I don't have to work tomorrow, but I also don't work in retail or anything like that, so my work will still be there on Monday when I get there. How much longer are you going to be streaming? I guess I will stream as long as people want to talk about stuff. I don't know. Probably not too much longer. There's only 5 of you left in here. Or at least that's what my counter says at the moment. So as long as there's stuff to talk about, I will keep gabbing. Oh yeah, I forgot Likens has to put out all his poinsettia flowers. I haven't been able to pick out separate flavors. Yeah, it takes time of kind of knowing where the flavor is coming from. There are some very unique flavors that will pop out that you don't get in other leaf. I think for the most part, you just need to smoke some of the stuff straight just to kind of get an idea of what it tastes like. But for the most part, if you've ever seen any of my reviews, I just tell you what I taste, and I don't tell you where it's coming from, because I think that's total bullcrap when people say, "Oh, this flavor is coming from here." I think it's ridiculous for the most part. So I just give you the entire flavor profile. Where it comes from, I don't really care. So for the most part, I can't pick out where exactly the flavor is coming from. I have an idea of sometimes because like Virginias are usually going to be kind of the where the sweetness is going to be coming from. But for a straight flavor, like if I'm tasting like cocoa or grass or coffee or anything like that, I don't typically know where it's actually coming from. I mean, if people can really know where it's coming from, sure, that's fine. But I don't know how truthful it is. So I don't focus on that when I do my reviews. If you've ever seen my reviews, I just give the full flavor profile. Because that's the point of the blend, is for the full flavor profile. I don't say, oh, the Virginias are nice and sweet and grassy, and the Latakia gives a nice, sour or acidic note or whatever. There's some things that stand out that you can't, that aren't deniable, like the flavor of Perique. Perique has a very unique flavor, and nothing else comes close to it. Same with Cavendish. I think Cavendish has a very unique flavor that kind of stands out on its own. Doesn't taste like anything else. So those tend to be the ones that I can pick out the easiest if they're there. And then obviously Latakia is smoky, but there are other things that can kind of give you a little bit of that smoky flavor. Especially if like there's dark fired Kentucky or anything in that, or any fire cured leaf can give a little bit of a flavor like that. But yeah, being able to pick it out is not a huge deal. Being able to pick out where it's actually coming from, being able to pick out individual flavors does take time, and it's not necessary if you can't. As long as it tastes good to you overall, then don't worry about what you're trying to translate it to. Like if you're trying to describe what it tastes like to other people, then yeah, it does take a bit of practice on just kind of pinpointing each of the flavors and breaking them out into something that is a well-known flavor. Everybody knows what strawberries taste like. So if you can taste a bit of strawberry, in the blend, and you can describe it as strawberry, everybody knows what that flavor is. Or same with green bean, or a lemon peel, or anything like that. I mean, those are the flavors that it's you're really describing what the individual notes taste like, and you're trying to give them a proper analog in other flavors of stuff. That is kind of where you go with like doing reviews and trying to describe to other people what something tastes like. You're trying to find other analogs. So, like I said, we all know what certain flavors are because we've all eaten them or smelled them. Because there's flavors that, smell is very important to flavors. I think in my 10 Russians review, I believe I described something as tasting like old pine boards. Now, I've never licked a pine board. I've never tasted a pine board. But I've definitely smelled old cabin pine boards before. And you can imagine what that's going to taste like. Because, your smell really influences flavor. And, you kind of have, it's, they're so closely related that I can tell you that it tastes like an old pine board because I've smelled what an old pine board smells like. You can kind of derive from there what it tastes like, even though I've never actually tasted an old pine board. Right, and as Pipes and Bees said, if you're smoking blending components by themselves, not mixed together, then you can start to kind of get a idea of where the flavors are coming from. But again, they're not always coming from that type of. They're not always coming from those leaves. Like you could taste something that you this tastes like something like an Oriental, and there might not be any Oriental in the blend. Because it really is a lot of things that go into it. You know, it's how it's grown, where it's grown, what the soil is like, what type of fertilizers they use. So those are all going to influence the flavor. How the leaf is handled afterwards, how it's processed. Is it heated up? Is it steamed? Is it fire cured, flue cured, air cured? All those types of things are going to affect the flavor from one batch to another. So even blending components, you know, if you smoke a Virginia from one place and smoke a Virginia from another place, they could taste completely different. Even if they are processed and handled exactly the same, but they are grown in two different locations, they could end up tasting completely different. I mean, I mean, that's how cigars. I mean, a lot of cigar tobacco is grown from the same, you know, strain and same seeds. But if you grow it in Ecuador, it's going to taste different than growing it in Dominican Republic. Because there's just different weather, there's different soil types. Exactly the same thing with tea. You know, you get tea from a mountainside at, you know, 8,000 meters up. That might be a little high. But, you know, you get them from, you know, a very tall mountain. Versus in the lowlands, even though it may be exactly the same variety of tree, they'll taste completely different. C&D's Baiju is a nice Virginia and Oriental. I have a tin. I have a tin of all these things. I just haven't opened it yet. But like if you're blending, that is when. So when I blend, like my cigars, I roll every individual leaf I have into a cigar of its own. So I'll roll the Dominican Seco I have in a pure Dominican Seco cigar. Then I'll roll all the Dominican Viso I have, roll that, and roll all the Ligero. So I'll take each individual component and try them separately, and then I'll note down everything, each of the flavors from each of those, so I can say distinctly, okay, this Dominican Viso that I got, what I have on hand tastes like this, and then I will blend that mix them with all the other flavors that I want, and that's how I come up with my cigars. Obviously, you have to try each new batch though, because they're not going to be the same, because I don't have because I'm not on a farm and I can't get the same from the same farm, from the same farmers, process exactly the same. So you have to kind of test every batch to make sure it's, you know, close enough to your old one, to see if you want it or not. If you like Oriental, open that tin. I will. I'll see what I can do about that. I have so many open tins I need to work on. I have a lot of mason jars with partial tins in them, so I probably need to start working on some of those. Like I have a jar right in front of me. I got a jar right here. And it is Gurkha Rare Breed is in this jar right here. So I kind of need to. I already got stuff I got to work on. But I will. It's definitely on my list, and that's one of the. That's one of the aging series though, right? The ones that you're supposed to age. So I'm okay with that one sitting around for quite a while. I mean, kind of the nice thing about blending though is you can blend to your own specific tastes. So like the cigars that I've blended for myself, like the recipe that I use for my own personal reserve, if you will, is specifically blended to exactly what I like. And it's taken it takes some experimentation, and like I have, I bought quarter pounds of like 20 plus different leaves from Leaf Only, tasted them all, and then put together recipes for myself. And my favorite blend is like a six country blend with an American wrapper and a Cameroon wrapper and an American binder, and then fillers from Dominican Republic, Brazil, Colombia, and Honduras. So it's like, geez. Show us your cat. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find him. Give me 2 seconds. I'll see if I can find him. And I'm in my... Hey, Fatty's right here. There's my ginormous cat. Oh, let's try not to kill me, all right? So this is my giant cat, Leo, and he is clawing me right now because he doesn't like to be picked up. So here he is. He's ginormous. Wait, are you guys serious? Or are you guys just messing around about Joe Rogan? Yeah, what are you guys talking about? Can you fill me in about the Joe Rogan thing? Because as far as I can tell, no, he is not dead. He is perfectly fine. As of 2 hours ago. MMA accident? Yeah, what? Okay, does anybody have a legit source for this? Please post a link in the chat. Because nothing comes up on Google News. So, I don't think Joe Rogan died. I don't see anything that would suggest as such. So unless you were there 2 seconds ago, then yeah. So a legit would be Good. Let's see. What else? Let's go back here because there's some stuff in here. Dun, dun, dun. So you saw my cat. He's a big fatty. No, I do not give my cat cigarettes. He's just big. I don't know why somebody's saying that Joe Rogan died, but as far as I can tell, no, he did not. That guy's probably going to live forever. So that was a weird conspiracy theory coming into my live stream. I just showed you the cat. You have to back up because I just showed you. Yeah, you're gonna have to post a legit source in the chat of that actually happening for me to believe it. Because like I said, I do not see it on Google News has nothing about that happening. You'd think that'd be really big. Man, everybody's dying apparently. There is, well, yeah, there's going to be a bit of a lag. But I think everything's fine. Let's see, favorite pipe shape. I'm a big fan of Volcano. There's a Volcano. It's a BR pipe Volcano that I have. Big fan. I like bent pipes in general, just like big ones. Here's a nice sail that I have. It's a cool one. Those are kind of my favorite pipe shapes. Also, the a bent brandy. I think it's on my dirty rack though, so I can't reach it from here. If you can't hear the audio, you probably have to unmute. Yeah. So that was fun. My tea is getting a little weak here. Once the tea runs out, then I run out. Luckily, I don't have to work tomorrow, so it's not a big deal that it's midnight now. Yes, I know you keep saying that. MMA accident, got it. Yeah. Tell me a website that has a story that's legit. You keep saying that like you think it means anything. InfoWars. Yeah. That's trustworthy. Bigjugs.net. Okie dokie. Wow, I got some weirdos in here tonight. That's strange. Yeah, thanks for bumping my stream. Sure. I'm curious if like you just troll random live streams or if you actually follow me. Pipe that you would like to get artisan or production. I don't have any more that I don't already have. I always wanted a Tim West, and I got one a couple years ago. So that's pretty awesome. So yeah, the Tim West was really the one I actually wanted. I like Winslow pipes, which I also have two. I like Stanwell, which I also have one. I like who else? Totally spacing it now. Nording. I love Eric Nording stuff, and I have one of his. So I pretty much have the couple makers that I like. And then I kind of buy from, individual small makers. I bought a C Pipes from Mark. I don't know how to say his last name. He's over in Portugal or something. He's really good. There's a lady named Sabrina who's over in Europe that makes some insanely awesome pipes, but I can't afford them because they are really expensive. Like, she sells pipes, or like some of her cheapest ones are like $500, but she does some crazy work. Let's see if I can find her pipes. Sabrina Santos. She has some really, really cool pipes that she does. But they can be very, very expensive. So yeah, look up Sabrina Santos. She lives in Portugal. She has some amazing pipes, and she makes like this cool like carving inside of like a honeycomb. Let's see if I can bring this up. Hold on. McQueen. I've never heard of McQueen. Gallery. Yeah, SabrinaPipes.com is her website. And let me find one that is ridiculously awesome that I asked for a price on. If she was to make me one, but I could not afford it. Oh man, she doesn't have in her gallery. She doesn't have one. But here, I'll drop a link in the chat. That pipe is sweet. She carves a honeycomb, kind of a honeycomb web, and then carves the pipe inside of it. It is insane. But they're really expensive because she hand carves them with a Dremel, and it probably takes forever. So I'd love to have one of her pipes, but I don't think I'll ever be able to afford one of her pipes. She also does a really cool hand done honeycomb rustication that is just really sweet. I'll drop another link. That is the coolest rustication I have ever seen. Pipes and B says, I like Orlick pipes, really like Costellos and Savinellis. Yeah, I like Savinellis too. I like the bent brandy is the 320. The 320 shape is kind of like my favorite of theirs. The 320 is like the most popular shape from them. I like their cool Hercules pipes. I like the 616, I think it is. I think it's shape 616. I'll have to check. 616 is just a classic bent. So the 616 KS is just a classic shape that I like. Yeah, so Sabrina Santos, amazing pipe maker. Probably my favorite current pipe maker out there right now that I'll never own. But I got a really cool Tim West freehand. If you check out Tim West's freehands, they're awesome. I don't even know. I don't know if he's still making pipes or not. He's probably pretty old at this point. Tim West pipes. Dun, dun, dun. Made his first pipe in 67, went full-time in 75. According to Pipepedia, he's still in Columbus, Ohio. Yeah, those pipes are sweet. I like Tim West does some really cool like twisted like spiral shapes down the shank, which are really cool, which I have on the one I have from him. He just makes really cool freehands. Pretty much all his most popular stuff is freehands. I just like, for the most part, just big honking pipes. Just something that fills up my hand when I'm holding on to it. Not very good for clinching and driving because they weigh a ton. Which is why I always have a rubber bit, because you can't really hold it. You'll break your teeth off on the acrylic stem if you don't take care. Well, if you guys don't have anything else, I'm probably going to wrap it up here. Don't know when I'll be back. I have all day off tomorrow. Maybe I'll actually make a video and just, do a review. I have this Gurkha rare breed that I have open, so I might do a review of this tomorrow. Not sure. Just to get something out there. Because I have all day and I will have no car tomorrow because my wife has to go to work, so she's taking the car. So we'll see. I like big pipes. Since my car accident, I have something that's 40 grams or under. Uh-oh, you crashed your car while you're smoking a pipe? Is that why you crashed your car? Because you were smoking a pipe? That's not cool. That's no fun. That's horrible. Yeah, I have some smaller pipes too. Like I have a Brebia 606 or 6006. So it's just a full bent Dublin. Anything that's like has a full bend is nice because it keeps the weight centered right below your mouth instead of sticking way out and having that leverage. So I do have I have some full bends, and then I have, some lighter pipes that are a little easier to smoke while I'm driving. Or I'll even just grab a cob on my way out of the house or something, because those are always going to be lightweight. Where'd the fat cat go? Oh, the fat cat wants out. Okay. No, somebody reared me. Somebody rear-ended me. That's a bummer. All right, guys. Well, thanks for hanging out with me this evening. For those of you who stuck through the entire stream, that's awesome. If you are just coming in, there's a whole bunch more stream you can go back and watch, because I'm at 2 hours and 25 minutes at this point. Holy crap. Just for reference, I have had 1.5 liters of water through this 5 grams of aged white tea. So it is delicious, and it can take quite a lot of brewing. If 5 grams to 1.5 liters of water, and it still has some flavor to go. I'll probably hit this with some boiling water next, just to extract the last little bit out of here. But definitely worth getting. This is a 2015 white cake. I forget what variety it is. Hold on. It is Shou Mai. SHOU space MEI. Shou Mai. It's also called Longevity Eyebrow. This is a tea from Fuding, and you can pick it up at Dragon Tea House. It's actually relatively inexpensive, free shipping, probably like $20 or something for this thing. And it's a 357 gram cake. So I mean, that's what, like 90 tea sessions of 5 grams, something like that, or a 70 tea sessions of 5 grams each for $20. It is really good, and you can brew it in a teapot. You can take this in a thermos or whatever. So Dragon Tea House, check it out. It's Shou Mai Longevity Eyebrow. If you're interested, it's really good. All right, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you next time. See you guys.